Hey, I got a cool trick that you can use to produce some creative chord types with only changing one note. So if you're ready to master the art of tritone substitutions, then this video is for you. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy KB Banks with Kingdom Keys Nation. So if you're ready to start growing as a gospel musician, then let's go ahead and get started by hitting the subscribe button, and don't forget the bell notification so you do not miss out on any future videos. In this lesson, we're going to dive into the art of tritone substitutions and how you can use them to spice up your chord options when you're playing a song. But before we can do that, what is a tritone? So let's go over to the piano. So a tritone is an interval, and just like all intervals, it consists of only two notes. Now, you may be looking at the word tritone and say, okay, well, how can a tritone only have two notes when tri, T-R-I, clearly means three? Great question. Same one that I asked. A tritone is an interval of three whole steps, okay? So let's say I'm on this C. If I go one whole step, I'll be a D. Another whole step is E. Another whole step will be F sharp. This forms a C tritone. So that's where we get our three from. It's three whole steps. And you can start anywhere, go three whole steps, 1, 2, 3, and have a tritone. Tritone, okay? That's what a tritone is. So now when we're looking at a tritone substitution, what we're saying is we're looking at our bass note and we're seeing how we can change that bass note with its tritone. So let me give you an example. Let's take a song like Amazing Grace. So Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. You could do something like this. Right? Okay, so I'm just gonna do that much thus far. So let's look at those first two chords. I said Amazing Grace. If you noticed, I had the same bass note for both of those chords. Amazing Grace. Well, let's say I want to change that second chord, okay? Now I know I could do something. Amazing Grace, how sweet. We were used to doing that 1 to the 3, which is okay, it's good. However, let's say I want to use a tritone substitution. So I'm going to say from this D flat, what is a tritone? So I'm going to do my three whole steps, 1, 2, 3. And there's my three whole steps. And I see that the G is a tritone. So I can switch this D flat for a G. And guess what? I can keep the same chord in my right hand. I don't have to change my chord. Check this out. So I said Amazing Grace. This is the chord that I played, right? That just add the D flat if you want to. But I can do something like this, right? And that's what I did. So I'm gonna play this chord over a G this time, and let's hear how it sounds. Amazing Grace. Oh, okay. And as you see, it creates a G7 chord, right? A G dominant chord, which the first time I had a D flat 7, all right, D flat dominant chord. Now I got a G dominant chord. So it still creates a chord by it being a tritone apart. Okay, I can color this up a little bit if I wanted to. Or I can do something like this. I like this is one of my favorite chords on this. Something like this. Or I like this chord right here. I probably put the E flat there. You can play around with this as much as you want to, knowing that it's a dominant chord. You can color it up however you want to. I'm just keeping this F on top because that's the melody. Now, that's a very simple way of how you can use a tritone substitution. Now, I actually posted a video on the channel a little while ago of a more advanced example of tritone substitutions. It was actually this one right here. Dwell in his safety, the safety of the Lord. I'm in his safety. Woo! Shout out to Ingrid Spencer on that video. That girl can sing. Woo! Whew. Back to the lesson. So in that clip, I used a few tritone substitutions. Let's break them down. So the song started off like this. We said, I'm in his. Then I did this little movement here. I said, okay, I'm gonna stop right there because those are the tritone substitutions I use. So first off, that's the movement that I played, but let's look at what this was actually in place of. So the first tritone sub was when I went here, when I set this movement. This here was a tritone sub. But let me explain why, because I did a few substitutions. One of them was an actual tritone substitution, but this is what we're subbing from. So we did the I'm in his safety, but the movement is playing off of this. So I'm doing a 3, 2, 1, 7, 3, 6. Okay, so I'm walking down to a 7, 3, 6. But what I did was, so I did the 3 chord, I did my 3, but then I went here to a 4 instead of the 2. So this isn't a tritone substitution, obviously, it's just a minor third, but it is a chord family, okay? And so we do talk about chord families that can be used to change out different options, okay? We got that video up there for you. But when I did this here, this is a substitution because remember, I was going to a 1 originally. So I was doing dwell in his, right? But instead of doing that, I said dwell in his. And I played a G in the bass. So since I played a G in the bass, I played off of that G chord. So you can still extend your chords by using that tritone substitution. So I know I got a G in the bass, so I played a G extended chord. Now let's look at that last tritone sub I used. I did something like this. I said, something like that, right? Now, this here, the tritone sub is actually on this beat. And the reason why, because I'm doing a 7-3-6 movement, okay? And now we got a whole bunch of creative ways to get to the 7-3-6 right up at the top for you. But in this moment, the 7-3, the 3 is an F, right? So that's my chord for the 3. But instead of playing this F, I did a tritone sub. So a tritone from F, 1, 2, 3 is a B. So I played a B chord instead to get to my 6. So I said, okay, that's where that tritone sub came in. Then I think I ended up moving off something like that. Pretty simple movement, playing around melodically, okay? So altogether, it will sound something like this. Tritone substitutions are one that you have to explore. When you have a chord and you want to do something different, ask yourself, what is a tritone from this bass note? Once you get that tritone, play the tritone difference in the bass with the same chord in the right hand, and I'm pretty sure you're going to discover a really magical sound. All right, fam, I know you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button and don't forget the bell notification. And you know I got another video right here for you. Make sure you go ahead and check it out, and I'll catch you on the next one, fam. Peace.